Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Friday, June the 7th. We got Game 4 of the NBA Finals on Friday night. Going to take a look at this showdown slate and talk about some of my favorite plays. We'll start off at the top of the player pool and we'll work our way down. I'll be sure to hit on all the guys that I really like. We'll touch on all the playable options, all the players that are going to see some minutes and are worth having in your player pool. And towards the end of the video, we will build out a couple lineups. Just see what we can do if we go with an expensive guy as our captain, see if that makes the most sense, or if we should go with like a cheaper guy as our captain. Look at different roster builds. But before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. It really does mean a lot, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below, so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. I would really appreciate it. So starting off at the top, we got Steph Curry as the most expensive option on this showdown slate. He is 11,800 at the top, and if you want to play Curry as your captain today, he is 17,700. And I think, again, on this slate, Curry is the guy that I want to play as my captain. He's coming off a great performance in Game 3. Even though the Warriors took the loss, Curry played so well. 43 minutes, took 31 shots, 45% from the field, 6 for 14 from 3, had 47 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals, had 73 DraftKings points. If you wanted to even cash on the showdown slate, you pretty much had to have Curry in your lineup. And I'm pretty sure you had to have him as your captain as well if you even wanted to make money. And I think going back to Curry as your captain makes a lot of sense. We already got the news that Kevin Durant's going to remain out. Klay Thompson is going to play, but there's a pretty good chance Klay Thompson's not going to be 100%. So I think Curry's going to be relied on heavily again. He's going to be leaned on heavily again. I expect him to take 25, 30 shots here. He's going to play a ton of minutes. Curry's just the guy that I want to pay up for, especially at home here. I don't know if the Warriors are going to be able to win this game, but if they are, it's probably going to be because Steph Curry has a really good game. So he's the guy that I want to pay up for the most. You can obviously look to Kawhi Leonard as well, but if I have to just choose one, I'm going with Curry. Draymond Green's sort of a secondary option for me. I'm going Curry number 1, Leonard 2, and then it's a big drop-off to Draymond Green at number 3. Green, I just don't know if he really has that 50, 60-point upside that you get on a nightly basis from Curry and Leonard. So for that reason, Green's probably not a guy that I'm going to be playing a ton today. There's just other ways I'd rather spend my salary, especially going to those top 2 guys. But now hitting on some of these mid-tier plays, Pascal Siakam had a pretty decent game last game, but wasn't really a guy that you needed to win. Lowry had more points than him and was cheaper, so even though Siakam had 37 DraftKings points and was a decent play or had a decent game, he still wasn't a guy that you really had to have. And at his $9,400 price tag, I think that's going to be the same sort of scenario here. I feel like Siakam at $9,400 is just not a guy that you're going to feel like you have to have in your lineups. You can save $1,400 and play Kyle Lowry, who gives you just as much upside. Even Klay Thompson, even if Thompson is going to be a little bit gimpy, he still is worth a look at $8,600. Thompson has been really good when he's been on the floor. He's playing a ton of minutes. He's taking a ton of shots. I don't expect him to be 100%, but $8,600, he gives you 35, 40-point upside. Could easily outscore a guy like Pascal Siakam. So Siakam's not going to be someone I really look to. I would much rather go to Thompson, especially Kyle Lowry. If I'm to choose one of those 9K, 8K guys, whether it's Siakam, Thompson, or Lowry, I think Lowry is definitely my favorite play at 8K. He's coming off a very good game in Game 3. He had 46 DraftKings points in 43 minutes, 8 for 16 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 9 assists. It was just a great game from Lowry. He played very well down the stretch. I expect him to play well again here in Game 4. I really like Kyle Lowry today at 8K. I expect a lot of my builds are going to have him and Curry in there together. I think those are 2 guys I'm going to be looking to the most. And then once you get to these 6K plays with Cousins, Gasol, Van Vliet, Iguodala, I would say my favorite plays here are most likely Marc Gasol and Andre Iguodala. Iguodala, I think, remains just underpriced at $5,800. He's just been so consistent throughout this series when it comes to fantasy. 25, 31, and 26 DraftKings points through 3 games. He's playing consistent minutes. With Kevin Durant remaining out, Andre Iguodala is going to continue to start and going to continue to play about 30 minutes. I'm not sure why he's still $5,800. I feel like he should be closer priced to Gasol and Cousins. He should be up there with their price tags. Kind of crazy he's cheaper than Fred VanVleet as well. Really like Iguodala in that mid-range. He's one of my favorite mid-range plays. And then between like Cousins, Gasol, and Van Vliet, like I said, I really like Gasol, 6,400. Gasol's been sort of up and down in this series. Through 3 games, he's had 2 pretty good games in Game 1 and Game 3. Game 1, he had 37 DraftKings points in 30 minutes. Last game, Game 3, he had 31 DK points in 26 minutes. Game 2, he really struggled, 17 DK points in only 31 minutes. Shot 2 for 7 from the field in that game. Didn't take a ton of shots. In Games 1 and 3, he did take double-digit shot attempts. He's been getting about 6-7 rebounds per game. Usually, if Gasol gets you like double-digit points and close to double-digit rebounds, he usually is going to wind up being a good play. At 6,400, I think I would rather play him over Cousins. Cousins just didn't look that great last game. I don't know if Cousins is going to be a guy that we can consistently rely on to give us solid production. Like, he started Game 2 and had a really good game, but then the game after that, Game 3, just didn't look good. He was sort of a liability on both ends, defensively and offensively. Only played 19 minutes. It just seems like a really risky play. Even with Durant out, I don't think I really want to go to Cousins. With Klay Thompson coming back, I expect a lot of the shot attempts, a lot of the usage to go to Thompson and Curry and Draymond Green. So Cousins at 6,800 is more of a secondary play for me. Would much rather have Gasol for 400 less. Fred VanVleet at 6K is just kind of sandwiched in between 2 guys that I would rather play, like Gasol and Iguodala. VanVleet's been very good in this series, been playing a ton of minutes, 33, 38, and 33 minutes through 3 games. The production's sort of been up and down. He had 19 DK points in Game 1. Then he had a great Game 2 with 31 DK points, and then last game, 25 DK points. The minutes are going to be there for VanVleet. He's been playing great defense on Steph Curry. They've been using VanVleet to defend Curry. I expect they're going to continue to do that, and he's going to continue to get a lot of run coming off the bench. But like I said, at his 6K price tag, I just feel safer saving money and going down to Iguodala or even trying to find $400 and play Marc Gasol if you can. But now talking about some of the value plays under 5K, there's really not a lot that I like. Like, Danny Green came off a really good game last game, 27 minutes, 32 DraftKings points. He was a guy that you kind of had to have if you wanted to win any good money on the showdown slate, the last slate. He finally got hot from the field, 6 for 10 from 3 in that game, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and 1 steal. Danny Green, I think, is one of the better values. Like, if you're trying to go with Curry and Leonard together in a lineup, or Curry and Draymond or whoever, if you're trying to get multiple studs, you're going to be forced to play a value play like Danny Green. I think he is the best option at 4,800. I would definitely have him in my lineups over Serge Ibaka. Even though Ibaka had a really good game as well, you just don't know what the minutes are going to look like for Ibaka. Through 3 games, 17, 16, 22 minutes. Did have a very productive game last game with 28 DraftKings points in 22 minutes. He was very good defensively with 6 blocks. He came up clutch towards the end of the game. I believe he did close the game out over Marc Gasol, which I guess is something to note. Maybe because Ibaka played so well towards the end of that game last game, maybe they give him more minutes. But at 4,400, he's so closely priced to Danny Green that I think I would just rather play Green, because Danny Green's probably going to play 5, 6, 7 more minutes than Ibaka will. Even though Ibaka's a more productive player, I would just feel safer going to a guy like Danny Green, who's going to be out there for almost 30 minutes, we know. So I do like Green as a value play. And if you build out a lineup and Ibaka fits, then I don't mind plugging him in, but I think I would try and get to Danny Green if you can. Andrew Bogut was a big surprise. He's the last guy that I want to talk about. He saw 22 minutes off the bench last game. I think a lot of that has to do with how much DeMarcus Cousins struggled. 22 DraftKings points in 22 minutes for Andrew Bogut. They did jump his price up a lot, though, to 4K. So for that reason, he's probably going to be a guy that I just avoid today. I would rather play Ibaka. I would rather play Danny Green. Even though Bogut might be someone they start to give more minutes to since Cousins has struggled. Maybe Bogut gets like 20 minutes again, but like I said, I would just rather play Ibaka, rather play Danny Green, especially now that they jumped Bogut's price up there to 4K. But other than him, I think that's pretty much it. Like, Sean Livingston started last game but didn't do much. With Klay Thompson coming back, Sean Livingston's going to go back to the bench. Quinn Cook saw like 26, 27 minutes last game, but a lot of that had to do with Klay Thompson being out. And now that Thompson's coming back, I expect Cook's minutes to go down. So I think that's probably it for value plays. I think that's probably it for like the player pool. Let's go ahead and build out a couple lineups real quick before we end the video. So I do want to try and build a lineup with Steph Curry as our captain. I think that's going to be the route that I try and take the most on this slate. We'll try and build a lineup with Curry and Leonard together, just see what it allows us to do. We're obviously going to need some value, so if we go to like Iguodala and Danny Green as our two value plays, that's going to leave us $5K remaining per player, so you're probably going to need another value, whether that's Bogut or Serge Ibaka. Kevon Looney is expected to return in this series. I don't think he's going to return for this game, but if he does, I guess at 3,600 he could be someone you look to. But on this slate, it looks like it's going to be pretty tough to play Curry and Leonard together, because if you put like even Bogut in there at 4K, you can play Fred VanVleet, but like I said, I really don't want to play Bogut. I just don't know if the upside's there. I don't see him scoring 20-plus DraftKings points again. So I would probably avoid going to Bogut. I don't really want to try and play him. If Looney comes back, I would much rather play Looney. And if Looney comes back, that's going to really cut into Bogut's value. But I don't think it's going Curry-Leonard makes a lot of sense on this slate. I think going with a cheaper guy, like some of these mid-tier plays like Kyle Lowry, who give you just as much, or not as much upside as Leonard, but if Leonard scores 50 and Lowry scores 40, then I think Lowry is probably the better play since he's so much cheaper. So like I said earlier, I do like going with Curry and Lowry together. I think that's a route that I'm going to be taking a lot. Now, if you want to go with your two values and Iguodala and Danny Green, then that would leave you enough to play like two of these 6K guys, where you could try and fit in one of these upper tier guys, whether it's Draymond or Siakam or Klay Thompson, whoever. I'm going to plug in Marc Gasol. We'll see what that allows us to do. That gives us enough to play DeMarcus Cousins, who I don't really like. But Fred VanVleet at 6K, playing 30-plus minutes off the bench, is someone you could look to. If you do that build, then that leaves you with 1,300 remaining per player. I honestly would probably just stick to this lineup right here, leave some salary on the table so that way you have a bit of a contrarian lineup, because it's more likely that if you leave a lot of salary on the table, a lot of people aren't probably going to have the same lineup that you do. So that's definitely a build you could look to. But just looking at this slate, it's going to be pretty tough to play one of these expensive guys as your captain, just because DraftKings has been pretty sharp with the pricing and has upped a lot of prices on these guys like Green and Iguodala. Their prices are starting to jump up a little bit. Let's look at a build with like Kyle Lowry as our captain, because I do like Lowry as a like sort of cheaper captain play. Obviously, if Steph Curry scores 70 DraftKings points again, then he's going to be the guy that you need to have in your captain slot. But if Curry goes for like 55 and you get 40, 45 out of Lowry, then Lowry could be the better captain play because he's so much cheaper. So let's plug in Curry now into this build with Lowry as our captain. Maybe with Lowry as our captain, we can fit Kawhi in there as well. If we put Kawhi in there, that leaves us enough to play Danny Green. We could play Iguodala, and then you could play Andrew Bogut if you wanted to, or you could play Looney if Looney comes back. I don't think we'd be able to get up to Ibaka unless you like took out Leonard and played Draymond. But I guess that's a build you could look to right there. You got a lot of upside in this build because you have Curry, Leonard in there together with a guy like Lowry who also has upside. But I really like going like Lowry, Curry. Instead of trying to force Leonard in there, maybe you go to some of these mid-tier plays. Maybe you play like Iguodala, Marc Gasol. Let's see, 7K remaining per player. You could probably go like Klay Thompson and Danny Green, or you could go Siakam and Serge Ibaka. That's a build that you could do. Don't think I really want to play Ibaka, Siakam, and Gasol all in the same lineup, so that's probably not something you should do. But maybe like Thompson and Danny Green, that's a build you could look to do as well. But that's probably it for this shutdown slate, guys. I would say my favorite build is going either Curry as your captain and just forcing in these cheap guys like Iguodala and Green, or going with someone like Kyle Lowry as your captain, and then maybe going Curry and Leonard, if you can, in there with Lowry as your captain. Those are probably the two builds I'm going to be doing the most on this shutdown slate. But I think that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you did enjoy the video. If you did enjoy, make sure you click that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comment section below. If you have any thoughts, any things you want to say about this showdown slate, feel free to leave them down in the comment section. Or if you do have questions, you can hit me up on Twitter. If you want to message me, tell me anything, feel free to do so on Twitter. My Twitter account is @thedfs_goat. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Good luck tonight. Peace.